me see. All right, I think we're live. Hey, 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 hey. We've got some folks in the chat already. Damn, man. You guys are fast. You guys are too fast, I think. Let me share this around a little bit. Let me get some more folks in here. Share this on my Twitter. How we doing? How are we doing? What's the latest? What have you been up to? What are you working on? I'm going to tell you what I'm working on in a minute. It's quite exciting. Vibing on Twitter. Let me show you what I'm actually up to. Vibing on Twitter for a bit. Building a CLI with Commander, TypeScript, esbuild, all that jazz. 8 minutes early, I was. 6 likes already, whoa! Ooh, opinion on bun. God, you guys are early. Hang on, let me get off light mode for a second, actually, because I know you folks hate that. I'm like super reticent to do anything whatsoever that isn't like industry default, so I haven't really checked out bun, but I will do that. Stop streaming, you're meant to be working. I'm meant to be working too. This is the I'm meant to be working stream, folks. Let me see, is my chat box working? Yes. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Oh, is it working? All I can see is the bun one. Hello from Sri Lanka. Hello from Oxford. There's a really, really good Sri Lankan restaurant. One of my good friends is Sri Lankan as well. Right. I'm going to get rolling on this because we've got actually quite a lot to do. Let me see. I need to say, hey, hello from Brazil. Oh, actually, I need to share this in my... I need to share this on LinkedIn as well, guys, because, you know, I'm a freaking professional. How to run CLI that are in NPM packages. I might understand what you mean. Nepal, Tunisia. God, this freaking chatbot here is like... I had so many... Oh, there we go. There we go. Now it's all kicking off. Okay, cool. From Down Under. Hello. We're playing you at the football on Wednesday, right? Hello from Ukraine. Good to hear you're still going. Yep, Discord announcements. Oh, hang on. God, I've got a whole checklist, but it's so annoying that I can only do this like after I go live. Maybe I can't do it after I go live. Do I like to keep working logic of a component like data fetching inside a file in lib folder or inside the component itself? Just depends. Just depends. Co-location is king, but sometimes you actually want to be able to, you know, sometimes you want it in a different file so that different teams can work on it at different times. Basically, if it's shared, move it to another file. Wait, this is the thing I want. Brazil, bin folder. Yeah, if it's, yeah, I'll look at that today. Like, because part of like building a CLI locally is like figuring out how to actually run it locally and test it. So we'll take a look at that, because I've been doing that today, actually, working on a total TypeScript CLI that I use to run all the lessons and stuff. Out of the military. Wow, man. Nice. Hello from Jamaica. Oh, I do need to do that. Build a CLI to make live announcements on all the socials. Look, you see, this freaking chat thing here, it just doesn't pick up on... That's great. It doesn't pick up on new messages, you know, so I'm like looking at it, but you guys have said way more stuff than it says there. Live, talking about CLIs, creamy. Yeah, there you go. And then it goes, brrr. That keyboard sounds creamy. Goa midag. Oh, my Dutch accent is real bad. Ciao from Italy, Italy. Tunisia, Bulgaria. Clack? I never heard of clack. What's clack? Thanks for clarifying about the South Korea thing. Yeah, that's useful to know. When I think of Korea, I think of South Korea. I don't think of North Korea. In-dev invocation thing. Hello, Harish. God, you guys are loud in the chat today. Okay, I need to post this. Hang on. So live. Let me show this here too. Live talking about CLIs, esbuild, TypeScript, all that good stuff. Okay, right, I'm going to start recording. I'll start recording on my end, and then we will get going. So what I want you guys to do is I want you to, as I'm going, just ask questions, fire away, ask questions. I'll have them on the screen here, even if it sort of takes a minute to upload, but like I will just sort of keep on like going until I see something on the screen from you guys, and then I'll answer it. Hey, Adrian. CLI for setting up TypeScript projects with an option to choose build tooling like Rollup or TS up or esbuild. Yeah, Discord's available to everyone. Discord is at mattpocock.com/Discord. Keyboard is a Keychron Q3. I want to get that tattooed on my head. Vietnam, beautiful. Righty. Okay. Let me set some stuff up. Have I configured an Expo React Native app with TS? No. Have I? Not in ages. Not in a few years. I'm sure it's pretty easy. I'm sure they actually come with TS as standard now. One of my friends actually is moving to the Expo team. Although I'm not supposed to tell you that. Right. TS Node TypeScript transpiles code that it shouldn't. If I target ES5, it allows to use symbols even though it shouldn't. Without TS Node. Yeah, we're not going to be using TS Node today. I'm not a fan of... Well, I mean, TS Node is fine, but I prefer something else. TS 5.3 is becoming lightweight, sort of. I mean, they keep making strides. Jake Bailey keeps making strides to pull down the size of the package installation, which is good. But, I mean, it doesn't make a huge amount of difference to performance, I don't think. Certainly install time, which is useful, but if you're using PNPM like I do, then actually install time doesn't matter because you literally only install it once globally per system. Yalk. Nice stuff for local testing NPM packages. I do not know about Yalk, but I'm learning, you know? Oh, Dark Soul. You love me. Thanks, buddy. That's a bit much. We only just met. God, can you hear the freaking... in the background. No, you should not learn C++ for better understanding of Node.js. I feel like I'm very productive with Node.js. I have no idea about C++. Will there be a YouTube video about this stream? Yeah. I might keep this one up, or I might make YouTube videos from the streams like I've been doing before on the channel. Typeform. Trying to build an open source alternative to Typeform. Difference between PNPM and Yarn. No background noise? Are you kidding, Signer? Are you kidding? It's really loud to me. Right. Sounded good. God damn. Okay. It's really killing me, but okay. TypeScript is lit. Yes, it is. All right, PNPM and Yarn just quickly. Oh, why is Google? Yeah, there we go. Dark mode. Nah, no Zod magic, don't think. CLI magic. Various types of magic. What should I do so my TS server in VS Code can work with new array methods like toSorted? I don't think toSorted is even in most browsers yet, is it? As far as I'm aware. You can hear it? Yeah. Right, I'm going to start recording actually. Okay, so yeah, toSorted proposal. Pretty sure that's not in the language yet. Yeah, what stage is this? Oh, is it stage 4? Okay. Well, so the way that TypeScript works, I wonder how I should actually keep track of this, because I want to make like little videos from... Anyway, all right, let me actually get into streaming mode here. So this proposal is proposal change array by copy. And what this does is it basically says... Change array by copy is basically add some more prototype methods to it. And what it does is it gives you things like toReverse, toSorted, toSpliced, and with. And what this means is that instead of having reverse or sort or splice, which actually mutate the array in place, what this does is it actually creates a new array from that. So it's an immutable structure. And this is extremely useful because so many times you get these weird little bugs where you're not, like you get an array that's passed in and you reverse it, but actually that then reverses the array that's outside of the function scope that you were in. So having a toReversed method actually makes so much sense, and it means that you can trust what your code is doing a lot more, I think. The thing is that, can you use this yet? Like, this is not available in browsers yet, even though it's reached stage 4, which is the last stage of TC39's sort of proposal setup. So what that means is that stage 4 is like when they say, okay, this is ready, this is going into JavaScript. But then it depends on Node and browsers actually implementing it. And that means that you've got to wait for a certain file to be ready. And that file is called lib.dom.d.ts. And lib.dom.d.ts, wherever it is, yeah, maybe this, I think. It's got to be here somewhere. Yeah, this huge, great big thing. What this is basically generated from is it's a huge, great big like set of interfaces, set of descriptors that like describes what is available in the current kind of TypeScript version. And actually, this wouldn't actually be in dom.d.ts, would it? It would be, I think, in, yeah, I imagine. Yeah, when are they adding support for this? toReversed. TypeScript issue GitHub. What's the use of toSpliced when we have slice? I actually can't answer that off the top of my head, but I think slice behaves slightly different from splice, doesn't it? Pretty sure. Nice for arrays as const, yeah. Yeah, CLI stands for command line interface. We'll get to it in a minute. Change array as copy. That's closed. That was already supported. Ooh. So if I check out TypeScript Playground and I look at, let's just say I use the nightly. Is this the nightly? This is the beta. I change the settings. Where are the settings? tsconfig. Go away. Yeah, there we go. No more settings. Okay. Target ES next, which is the latest target. Close this, pull that down. And now I can go const r equals this and r.toReversed. There it is. Okay, nice. What are you yelling at me for? Yeah, okay. Equals this. So it looks like TypeScript has already implemented it, actually. And it means that, because what you basically decide when you do this sort of like target thing in the tsconfig, oh, I've got the same issue again. Zoom out, get this. What you decide when you specify the target is like the JavaScript language version. So I assume at some point, I mean, this might have been like part of ES22 already. No, it's probably going to be a part of ES 2023, at which point it will go into Node and go into blah, 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 blah. Splice allows injections, slice doesn't. There you go. Perfect. Still haven't figured out when to use generics. Use them in your utils folder, basically. So how do I sum this up? Basically, toReversed is coming, but you can't quite use it yet, and it will be amazing when you can. Let's get to the CLI. All right, let's do the CLI. Okie dokie. So I'm going to start actually from a complete like empty page here. So we're just going to like go from nothing. And the reason I want to do that is to show you exactly how it goes. Does anyone have any questions about CLIs before we get started? What do you know about CLIs? Let me judge this right for you. It's so warm in here. I'm going to quickly blast myself with my fan. Oh no, my fan's not working. It's not on. Oh, not plugged in. Yeah, maybe it might already be in 5.1. The important thing is the target is to like target ES next, basically. Because if you're not targeting ES next, or I imagine it's only ES next, actually. There's probably a specific target to add the toReversed in, or specific lib, rather. If you're not targeting that, then you're not going to have a nice little thing. Have a nice experience. Yeah, cool wallpaper. This is from the Total TypeScript Beginners course. We got this artwork commissioned for it. This is by an amazing artist called Michelle Hollick. There we go. Look how beautiful that looks. We've got custom artwork for everything, basically. With just JavaScript, you can create a CLI. Yes, just JavaScript. Laravel prompt. What's Laravel prompt? I've never actually heard of that. Laravel prompt. Beautiful user-friendly forms to command line applications. Yeah, there's something like this, just prompts from NPM. Good and simple CLI solution. I just need flags from command line, not all this crap I end up building myself. Okay. All right. We ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Let's do it. I can do this actually. All right, folks, we're going to start building a CLI. What is a CLI? A CLI is a command line interface like Git or like something that you're used to. It's something that you use from the terminal to do other things. And there are many, many, many CLIs that are written in JavaScript. I would venture that most actual CLIs that work in the JavaScript ecosystem are probably written in JavaScript. So Webpack, CLI, written in JavaScript. TypeScript is itself a CLI written in JavaScript. And because they're written in JavaScript, it means that people who write JavaScript on a daily basis can contribute. And actually, you don't lose a lot in terms of performance when it comes to like building a CLI based, like, let's say you're working in Rust or Go or something like that, you're going to be able to compile like a native binary, which means that you're actually going to be able to run like a little bit faster. But JavaScript has something called Node. And with Node, what that does is it helps you run JavaScript code as if it were a native binary, essentially. So it means that you can sort of access the file system, and it means you can build kind of back-end apps and also scripts with JavaScript, and especially with TypeScript. So we've got some stuff to do. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to just open up my code, my terminal, and I'm going to create a new repo. So I'm just going to say, let me cd into my repos, ts, and I'm going to make dir, whoops, I need to actually stream this, don't I? I'm going to make dir a, let's just call it practice CLI. And I'm going to code into practice CLI. And we're just going to do the basics in terms of setup first. So apologies for the sound of the background, by the way. Let's start from, I'm going to set up ESLint and Protea. Maybe. I might too. Probably not ESLint. Certainly TypeScript will be enough for us. So I'm going to start here just with an npm init and then -y. What this is going to do is it's going to create a package.json for me. And this has practice CLI in it, has a version, which I'm actually just going to dump down to 0.0.1. It's got a test script and it's got some keywords, blah, 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 blah. Also got this main thing, which we'll come back to in a minute. Now I'm going to say git init. And git init is going to basically create a Git environment for us in here. And it means that we can git commit message, hey, and that is going to basically commit nothing, of course, because I didn't add it. Let's just say hey. That's the first one. And let me publish this so you can actually see this. Practice CLI. That is going up to mattpoker.com/practice CLI. What I'm going to do now is let's start adding in a couple of things. So the next thing I want to add is I actually want to use, like loads of people in the chat already are saying no PNPM, no yarn. Let's choose PNPM as our setup here. And what you have basically is when you're working with this stuff, when you're working with a package.json in any form, you have three real choices to install your packages. You've got npm, which is the basic one that comes with Node. If you have Node installed, you will have npm installed, you'll be able to use it. And yarn, there are sort of two versions of yarn you need to be paying attention to. There's yarn classic and there's yarn berry. Not sure if yarn 3 has its own name, but yarn berry is the one that's not the classic. Yarn classic is pretty similar to npm, except it's got a couple more features in it, but PNPM is the real cool one, and PNPM is my favorite. npm, what it does is when you install packages, like which it has on the npm repository, what it does is it saves it into node modules in your file system. What this means is that as you work on tens, hundreds of repos on your system, your file system just gets clogged up with all these node modules, just crashing through. And what that means like PNPM doesn't do that. PNPM, what it'll do is it'll say, okay, you want to install TypeScript version 5.1.1. I see. I'm going to save that in a single place at the very, very top of the file system. And then I'm going to pull that down into your node modules with a hard link. So that hard link, what that's doing is it's basically you then only have one version of TypeScript 5.1.1 on your system. If you install TypeScript 5.1.2 in a different setup, then that will also save in the cache and then hard link down. It means that overall you save a lot on package installation time, but also it means your hard drive isn't going to get like cramped, basically. Why dump down the version? I don't like to start my versions on 1.0.0. Just feels a bit messy. I like starting on 0.0.1. So, a little drink of water. Will the application in TS Node be a single executable file which will include Node if necessary? No, we're not going to bundle Node in with our CLI. We're going to assume that the person running our script has Node installed. Yeah, and it will require Node to run anyway. Watching this in class, Matt sounds far better than my professor. Pay attention to your professor. You're not paying for this. You're paying for that guy, right? You're paying for the professor, I assume. If you've got a student loan, maybe. Right. Ooh, 0.0.0 is nice to have. Change sets make the 0.0.1 change. Yeah, okay. So 0.0.0 is the one. Okie dokie. So now let's do some setup here, because we have our package.json over there. But what we don't have is we don't have a tsconfig. Now, we're going to need to do a couple of things. So I'm going to use pnpm to add all my packages, which means instead of saying npm, I'm going to say pnpm. And pnpm add, I'm going to do a hyphen uppercase D TypeScript. It's going to be our first dependency. And this D means we're just adding it as a dev dependency there. So you notice how quick that was? TypeScript 1.6 done in 1.4 seconds, didn't need to like download anything. It reused stuff from the cache here. Epic. So what we'll do now is we need to add a git ignore. And we'll say node modules, and we're good to go. So, okay, let's add now a file which is going to be our source directory, and we'll say index.ts up here. And we'll say const hello equals whatever. So a few things that are going on right now is like, first of all, we don't have a tsconfig file here. We're writing a TypeScript file, but we don't have a tsconfig. Tsconfig basically tells TypeScript what how it should behave, essentially. And let's add a tsconfig now. So we're going to say tsc ---- init. Am I going to do this? No, I might actually do something else. The something else I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Google Chrome, and I'm going to head to a repo called tsconfig bases. Now, tsconfig bases, this is a super useful repo. Basically a centralized recommendations for tsconfig bases. Really, really cool. Let me pull this over here so you can see it properly. The thing that's like epic about this is we can actually just look at different bases for different node versions that we want to operate in. So I want to operate in the node LTS. This is the node long-term support version. What this means is I can just grab this and copy and paste it, and just pull it into my repo under tsconfig.json. And there we go. So this means now that we're pulling in lib ES 2023, which is, I guess, the latest stuff. We need to do one more thing after this. And I'll explain these options as we go. But actually, the main options that we've got here are strict true, ES module interop, and skip libcheck true. So strict true just basically means use all of the strictest stuff possible. I'm going to add no unchecked indexed access as well. This is basically like an extra little rule that didn't make it into strict mode that I always add. What's the difference between esconfig and tsconfig? I've never heard of esconfig before. tsconfig basically just relates to TypeScript. How do you speed up this video to 1.5x? You will be able to when I've finished recording it, but unfortunately I can't speed myself up to 1.5x. I will go a bit faster there if you fancy it. And then, that's hilarious. I'm also going to include the source directory here. This means that tsconfig will now only apply inside the source directory. So, yeah, travel in time. That's great. Right. It seems like ES 2023 is already there, actually. Don't need to wait for the immutable array helpers. Pretty good. Yeah, schema definition. It's yeah, epic. I don't think you actually need the schema definition because VS Code understands this is a TypeScript config file, and so it just pulls it in for you. So all is well. Okay. So module node next. It's actually pretty similar to module node 16. Am I going to bother to talk about it? I don't think I am, actually. So, okay, we've now got a tsconfig file. We've now got a package.json. We can pull in dependencies. That's good. We've got pnpm set up. Pnpm prints out this lock file here. Currently, our only dependency is TypeScript. And we've got a file here. Great. So let's talk about... Like, we actually want to see some stuff on the screen, don't we, right? And the stuff we want to see on the screen is we kind of want to understand that how to... Where can I go from here? We kind of want to go... We want to run this practice CLI, essentially. So we need to take some steps in order to run this and just sort of see it working. So the way I'm going to do that is we need to set up, like... We need to basically set this up so that we can run like P or something, or practice, or I don't know what we're going to call this, so that we can actually just try it out locally. Now, the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to add a bin file to here. And bin is going to reference, we're going to say practice, and that's going to be, let's just say index.js first. Now what this property does is it adds an executable onto the path in your global setup when you run this. So this means that when we have this installed globally, or when we have it installed locally in a package, it means that practice is going to be available for us to call and then run the executable from it. So currently this is referencing a file called index.js. So if I add index.js here, I'm going to do a couple of things. So I'm going to say console.log hello, like this. And I'm now going to run npm. What is this? Yeah, actually, how do I do this with pnpm? I can't remember. I might just do it with npm. We're going to say pnpm link global. I think it's practice CLI. No, link should never be global. Yarn lets me run this with global. Let me actually just check how I do this with pnpm. Do this here. pnpm global link. I know how to do it with yarn, actually. Weirdly, like that's what I do locally. Yeah, here we go. pnpm link global package. Okay, perfecto. Yeah, right. pnpm link global. I think I can just do that, right? Unable to find the global bin directory. Okay, imagine I'm typing pnpm here, but I'm just going to say yarn link global. And I think that'll do it. Okay, now I have practice CLI running globally, and I should be able to just say practice. But currently I'm getting permission denied. Permission denied. I can't remember why that happens, but I know that something that will help fix it is we can say, I think it's this setup here. We basically need to prefix the bin that we're creating here with this little piece of syntax. What this little piece of syntax says is the executable that we need to run this is this user bin env node. And this node is basically going to say, okay, use node to run this. Now, can I run this again? No. I need to say yarn unlink global practice CLI. So I need to unlink it, and then I definitely can't run practice because there's nothing there anymore. But now I can say yarn link global, and now I can run practice, permission denied. Oh, bugger. Oh, bugger. It's time to Google. It's time to Google. Permission denied, yarn global link. Permission denied. Yeah, I could do chmod. Do I just need to do chmod 755? Do I need to do it on the actual file here? On this file? God, everyone's saying chmod. Chmod plus x index.js. Hey, you beauties. You only gone and smashed it. Okay, so there you go. So, right. I don't have to call practice CLI. By specifying this practice instead, I actually make this the entry points here. So now we've got our hello. And as you can see, I can do practice here and it says hello. And if I say hello world up here, then I can don't need to relink it. So it's actually linked to the local version here, which is extremely useful. So this means now that I can just sort of change stuff here, rerun my CLI, and it's starting to work. Except, of course, this is a JavaScript file. And I shouldn't really be working in JavaScript. I've got a reputation to protect. Everyone knows me as the TypeScript guy. So how do we actually get this working in TypeScript? Well, there's a few ways that we can do it. Now, the first way is we should get a build setup working here, where I want to run a dev script. And this dev script is basically going to just call TypeScript watch. And TypeScript watch, what that's going to do is it's going to go through all of my code here. And I'm going to remove this just for now. Delete you. And it's going to look at all of my TypeScript code and turn it into JavaScript. So if I just commit something here, commit, you should do, better commit messages than that, but I'm just doing it for fun. And if I run this dev script now, I can say pnpm run dev. And pnpm run dev, what that's going to do is it's going to add little JavaScript files alongside my TypeScript files. And if I add a little piece of syntax here, if I say message is a string here, then if we see this on the left, no, actually I'll just do that like this. On the TypeScript version, we've got message string. On the JavaScript version, we've got a few different things, but it strips out all of the TypeScript annotations there. So this is the JavaScripted version of our TypeScript file. Because TypeScript doesn't do any validation here or anything like that, it's literally just strip out, add some extra stuff, which I'm not entirely sure, exports.es module, I assume that's for interop purposes, and it just removes all of the annotations. I'm not going to use tsnode actually. How do you make it so you can call it like this, npx learner init? I can't remember, actually. Yeah, I can just do pnpm dev. Pnpm dev, but for some reason I always add the run. Okie dokie. But it's not very useful having the JavaScript files just next to the TypeScript files. I find that clutters things up. So ideally, I would be able to emit them to a dist folder or something. And I can then just git ignore the dist folder. The way you do that in tsconfig is inside compiler options, you say outdir dist. And this will emit all of the TypeScript stuff that you're trying to pull and just stick it in the dist directory. So let's say pnpm dev. Now we've got source index.ts, dist index.js. And this is going to be the file that I actually want to run from the bin. So now instead of this, we've got dist index.js. I was thinking about nodemon, but actually I kind of want the shebang. Yeah. The shebang. Oh, yeah. You're right. So inside here, I actually need to say this user bin env node as well. It's kind of cool that they recognize this as a comment, even though it's not actually JavaScript legal syntax. And this means that it ends up in this file here. So now we've got to link again. So we have to say now, and actually I'm going to add a little file here, and this is going to be link CLI, and this is going to say yarn global unlink practice CLI and yarn global link this. So I should now be able to just say pnpm link CLI, and it should just work. So it unregistered it, and then it registered it again. So now, moment of truth, practice, permission denied. Oh God. So chmod plus, I guess I should add this to the script actually. Chmod plus x, dist index.js. Practice makes perfect. Console log. Wow. And now with pnpm dev happening, I should be able to, oh, cannot find name console. You what? Oh, of course. This is wild. I know instantly why this is happening, but you guys know why this is happening? Auto suggestion going on your editor. Oh, that's GitHub Copilot. That's what that's happening. Yeah, I mean, I should use pnpm for my global setup. And then, but currently I'm just like, yeah, no, tsconfig is not missing lib. tsconfig has its lib. Shebang's a legal JS syntax. I thought I saw that proposal. Ooh. TSUp does chmod automatically on shebang. Yeah, maybe I should use that. Yeah, why is happening? Types node. Someone got it. Yeah, we have specified our lib property, right? This means that DOM is not automatically being included, which is really good because we can't access documents. Like there's no such thing as document in Node, but there is such a thing as console. And currently we're not. Like if I try to import something from FS, import FS from FS, this is going to error at me because it doesn't understand that Node should exist in this system. So we need to add types node. I'm going to say pnpm, do it in this one actually. I'll run dev over here, then I'll use this one. So pnpm add -d types node. So now we've got types node. And types node now lives in package.json. And suddenly our console is available again because types node puts a bunch of stuff into the global scope like console. It means you can import from FS and FS promises, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, this is it. I have to install node types. Well done, well done, well done. Yeah, console is not a part of ES. So it's like a global thing. I should use Deno. Nah. I'm compiling a node CLI fuzzy bear, you know? Why don't I build it in Rust? Because I can't write Rust. All right, we did it. Fantastic. So now we've got our shebang, we've got this all working. And now when we change stuff in here, we should now get practice working nicely. So we've got wow, and then do this, practice, wow. Okay, so this is like the first possible, one of many possible setups that you can use to compile your CLI. What would happen now is we would be able to actually install this, like stick it up on NPM and install this locally. And you could then just use it, right? So there's a few setups to do that now. Something wrong with node types, auto import fix never works for node modules. Not sure what you mean. A shebang. Is that a Ricky Martin song? I don't know. Yeah, Deno has TS out of the box, very easy. Okie dokie. You suppose Foca into some freaky stuff. That's for sure. Right. So we need to now actually scaffold this so it's like a proper CLI. So we add things like, because currently we call our CLI and it just does like a console log, right? Which isn't very fun, you know. We actually want to scaffold this so it looks like a proper project. Let me first just pump this up to GitHub. Added scaffolding for local testing. There you go, a proper commit message. You see, I can actually commit. I can commit, guys. I don't have yeah, you hear a chainsaw. My neighbors are doing some nasty stuff. I'm not using that. No, I'm not using the pretty TS errors. I'm using total TypeScript translator. So I've got hello, 1, 2, 3, and you get a nice little translation of the error message that's kind of occurring there. Preferred library for managing command line options. Well, how interesting that you asked. I'm going to pnpm add Commander. Now, Commander might not be the sexiest, coolest thing, but it's just the thing that I know how to use. It's real good, real nice. We can say import, what is it? Commander from Commander. I actually want to just quickly Google how you're supposed to use this. So pull this up. We've got Commander. npm. I always have to like check this out first, because I never quite remember how it works. So we've got const program equals require commander. Yeah, here we go. So const command equals require commander. Let's do this. So let me pull that back in, and we can say, instead of require, we're going to use import. Import from commander. And we're going to say command. Now, what I get to do is I can now specify things on this command, essentially. So I can say, let's say we just want to say, when I call my CLI, I want to do something. So this means that I can say program action, let's just say we've got a function here, and we can just say console log, hello. So this is good. And it's now, yeah, still doing the TSC watch, that's good. And I should be able to just call practice here. And, oh yeah, then I need to say program.parse process.argv. So there's sort of two steps happening here. First of all, I declare my program. So like declare the program, add actions onto that program. Then I get to basically, yeah, execute the CLI with the given arguments. So it's almost like this whole thing, it's like sort of runs in a few different steps. You declare the program there, you add the actions on, so notice sort of like adding all the actions onto it, and then process.argv, these are the process arguments that are coming in when we run this. So if we were to like, yeah, let's just sort of do this here, and we can say practice, and we get hello there. But we also get an awesome, awesome thing here, which is we can say, if I zoom this out a little bit, sorry about the noise, guys, so annoying. We can say practice help, and it's going to actually like give us information about the usage of our CLI, and it means that we can do things like add a description here. So we can say description, we just get to say hello. Now, practice help, and it says usage practice, and it says say hello on it. So nice, so nice. Chose a library with such a poor TypeScript support. I think it's like good enough, you know, like you get a nice builder pattern with it, you can explore it. What would you use instead? Do I use any testing framework? Yeah, vtest, very, very nice. Love it. Ooh, yes, Cat, what are you saying? Blah, 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 blah. Do you find out how a package lib works? Do you browse its docs? I'm used go to definition in Go when I do this in TS. Yeah, messy definition files. That's interesting. You're used to sort of browsing like the source code with Go. Yeah, in TypeScript, if you try and do that, you're going to get these, you know, big declaration files staring at you. Yargs is pretty popular. Ooh, maybe I should check out Yargs. Let's consider this then like a Commander versus Yargs. Like, it's so weird because one of my best friends from home is like, his nickname was Yarg. It was like grey backwards, and so we just all called him Yarg. And so whenever anyone says Yargs, like, that's what I think of. I think of Yarg. Yargs is good. Okay, maybe I'll check out Yargs. How do I document my libs? I write the documentation. I don't use TypeDoc. TypeDoc doesn't, it's never as good as you think it's going to be, and actually just going through the TypeScript declaration files is better. Vtest is so good, so convenient. Yeah, Vtest is really, really good. I don't have an opinion. I don't have a video with like my VS Code versus whatever opinion, but I've used VS Code for years. I think VS Code is banging. Commander.js, extra typings, infer types from their DSL. I mean, how complicated is your CLI going to be really like in terms of the arguments it accepts? So let's say that we want to accept something from this action here. So let me just quickly check this. Action. Oh, my wife's just come in, sorry. Hello, I'm streaming. Hmm? I know, you've interrupted.
Me?
Yeah, I am.
What did you think?
I just said my wife's coming. Alright. What about Jest? VTest is better than Jest. VTest is the improved version of it. Why don't I use inlay types? Just crowds the screen up a little bit. Yeah, she just got off a call. Right, so command, description, action. How do I add arguments here, actually? So that's one thing I want to do here is like, yeah, here we go. So you can add arguments. So you can say, what's the syntax here? Argument string, yeah. So I can say argument string, and let's say I want to add a message to it. So we've got argument string, string to log, and then I can say action, and this action then is going to, it's not going to infer the thing from the string, which is annoying. So we just have this like message here, and message basically just gets inferred as any, so we can just type it as a string. And now I can say hello, and wherever that button is, and I can say hello message. Now, when we try it, we can say practice, and it's missing a required argument string. So I can say practice hello, and now it's saying hello, hello. So practice world, we end up with hello world. Very cool. I do use GitHub Actions to publish automatically. VTest works on Node, yep. I don't know if there's a 1.0 planned for VTest. Classes interfaces in JavaScript can be useful sometimes versus modules, higher order functions. Not quite sure what do you mean by that. Ooh, you wrote a course. I didn't realize you wrote a course, Fuzzy. Link your course, pal. Shameful plug. It's a shameless plug, not a shameful plug. All right, so let me see then. Let's have a look at yargs, because I'm interested by yargs. I've never actually like checked it out before. So let's just look at yargs GitHub. The modern pirate themed successor to Optimist. So Commander is not even the one that it's replacing. Yargs be a Node.js library for hearties trying to parse the opt strings. Require yargs. argv. Okay. Serve ports. Yeah, see, it's hide bin. I wonder what bin is. Option verbose, alias b, type boolean. Ooh. God, it's so warm in here. Damn. Deno args. Interesting. Yargs in the browser. Yargs' API. So yeah, I'm intrigued. Interpret key as an array. I'm finding it hard to grok this. Okay, I'm right on the API reference, that's why. Let's have a look at some examples. I can't say I'm loving this pirate theming. I mean, it's fine, but... So the idea is yargs is like a function. Well, it seems like interesting. I don't think I'm actually going to integrate it for this video. Don't think I'm going to integrate. What do you think? What do you use for generating JavaScript code for use when creating a boilerplate code via CLI? Sorry, there's 10 different things in there. Yeah, those examples were a little bit weird. Well, console can be from DOM and it can be from types Node as well, because Node has a console too. What do I use for generating JavaScript code for use when creating boilerplate code via CLI? No, sorry, there's like 3 different things in there. All right. So where were we? We were talking about, I think I'm going to stick with this, This seems fine. Yeah, Yarg, simple example, not that simple. I'm not saying, like, the thing I love about Commander is it's like, what do you want? Here you go. You just have it, right? Sure, it's like, I think of it like kind of like fetch in JavaScript. Like, fetch sort of, its typings are pretty bad, Like, if you use TS reset, they're a little bit better, but they're pretty bad. They just sort of flood any's into your code. But by using any, it means that it's actually pretty easy to overwrite, and it means it's compatible with lots of different stuff. Arg parsing has a long history of not being simple. Yeah, it's kind of like HTML parsing, absolutely. Trying to implement it yourself is bloody nasty. Right. So basically what this means then is, now we're back on track. We've got our command running. We now know how to link it locally. And our index.ts, like, we can just do anything in here, right? If we want to like pull this out into like a separate file or something, then we can do that. Or let's say we want to say program.command and add like a subcommand. So let's say we want to say, add numbers, right? Action number. Yeah, here we go. Total. Thank you, GitHub Copilot. Beautiful. And now we've got another command, which is an add command. So I can say practice help. And you can see here that I've got basically the base practice usage, or I've got another one here, which is add numbers. And I should add a description to that as well. So we've got description, add numbers, and log the total. I just freaking love this stuff, man. So we got practice help. Yeah, there we go. Add numbers. I can add another one down here, which is like get max numbers, and Copilot. Thank you. Max. There we go. Practice help. There we go. Now I've got add and get max number. So this is great. This is really nice. Commander's awesome, guys. I think, like, sure, there might be more attractive versions out there, but I use this for all my stuff and it's fine. Commander doesn't give you much on the bright side. Yeah, I might need to actually like go in and check all of these, because like you guys talk about Yargs, you guys are talking about Cheerio. I've just stuck with Commander like the whole time that I've been writing CLIs, and it's been perfectly fine for me, but I've never had to do anything too major or interesting. Do I use GitHub Actions for automatic deployment? I do. Maybe we should talk about automatic deployments. I've got another video where I talk about like how to stick stuff up in, how to use change sets and how to like publish a library with them. Because this seems pretty similar, right? But essentially this is what we have now. Like, there's a... So let's kind of recap where we've got. We have a package.json. This package.json has a dev script which runs TypeScript on a watch mode. That watch mode compiles everything into an outdir dist here. So in order to work on this and work on it locally, I need to basically run our dev script in order to see it working. The next thing, like, in order to actually get it working in the first place, we've got this script here, which says yarn global unlinked practice CLI. I should probably add a chmod in there. So chmod plus x dist index.js, because this is the thing that actually like runs when we run our CLI. We added this thing at the top of our index.ts to make sure that it actually runs. And we added a bin script up here, which is practice, to actually target our dist index.js. And that's basically what we've got. You want to learn testing stuff, you have no idea where to start. Maybe we should add a test here. Yargs is a lot more work than it should be. Can we add an alias and flags? Absolutely. So we can say dot flag, is it? Or dot option? Yeah, dot option. So yeah, we can either capitalize it or not here. And now what this ends up coming through as, if I'm right, it ends up coming through as a little type here. So this might be opt, and we've got capitalize, which is a Boolean. Console log. Yeah, let's see what Copilot says. Yeah, if ops.capitalize, do this. So what I can do now is I can say practice, and I can say wow. And without the capitalized flag, it doesn't do that. But I can just add the C here, and it capitalizes it for me. Super nice. Yeah, this code is available. Code is at, I'll open the GitHub in a second. Add more stuff. This is Copilot. I'm using Copilot, it's great. Let me just go to GitHub and what was it called? Matt Pocock Practice CLI. Make a CLI for, yeah. It's funny when you're working on this stuff. Let me see view code. Yeah, here's the code here. So this is Matt Pocock /practice CLI. If I want a more opinionated CLI framework for Node.js, recommend checking out Oak Cliff. It's funny though, because I mean, like, the original stuff is just great, you know. I still use Chokidar, though I imagine there's some other thing for file watching. Commander's great. It's all good, man. So yeah, that is the basic setup that I would use to build myself a CLI, which I could then build. I know chat on stream is actually frozen. It sort of freezes and unfreezes. It's very, very, very annoying. Link CLI won't work for the first time. Yes. Yeah, you're right, actually. So it won't work the first time. And let me actually adjust this, because I was thinking about that before I started streaming. Link CLI, if it's not linked up, so I can say like pm, what's this? Yeah, if I just run this and I unlink my setup here, so yarn global unlink practice CLI, then can you async await? Yes, you can inside the action. Yeah. Does the CLI repo have to be public to publish on npm? No, it doesn't. It doesn't. What was I saying? If I unlink this and now I try to run pm link CLI, it's actually going to fail because there's nothing found in practice CLI. So what I kind of want to do is I kind of just want to pipe this. How do I do this? How do I basically say bash don't fail on error. Yeah, here we go. So I can actually just pull this into or true here, which is like a little bit of bash syntax to basically say, don't worry about this. Like, don't worry about whether this fails or not, just always run it. And now I can run pm link CLI and it actually just works, which is really, really nice. So now this link CLI will work the first time, and then it will work the second time too. Yeah, someone got it in there, or true. Beautiful. There we go. Nice. Any more questions about this? I feel like we did pretty well there, actually. I guess I should talk about like how to publish this. And maybe we can just check it, like, let's see. Can I create a React higher order generic component where we have different props with different component and have type checking in there? That's an extremely vague question, but it sounds like you need my React TypeScript Advanced course. Ooh, just replace the and with an and question mark. I don't know Bash that well, actually. So, but that sounds promising. Why the unholy yarn pm union? Because I can't be bothered to set up pm globally on my system, just on stream. So I'm using yarn to stick it in my global executable, and then pm locally to run it. What does a CLI do? It doesn't do a ton, really. But essentially, it's like the entry point from where you can start building stuff out. So here we've got our first command, which is just saying hello and logging some stuff. You can capitalize it or not. And then you have to manually type this yourself with Commander, which is slightly annoying. But you get the options here, and you get the arguments, and you've got a little description there too, We've got a command to add some numbers together, and we've got a command to get the max number out of a set of numbers. Have I considered using a single turbo PNPM workspaces monolith for all and everything you do? Easy and fast to iterate on new repos. Yes, and also I did that for a bit, but weirdly what I do, sometimes you actually need to package it up in different repos because, and also basically I'm creating learning materials a lot of the time, and those learning materials need to be simple to install, simple to observe, and not have too much code in them. So I can't stick it all in one big repo. Built a CLI recently, implemented an auto update into the script, which is really handy to make sure you're always up to date to NPM. Cool. Good for you, mate. Sounds good. How to use them in other projects. Basically when it's global, then you'll be able to just use it in other projects. If I have multiple TS files, when you publish, will it bundle it into a single file? No, you can configure it to do that, I think, but mostly you don't need to. Mostly you just need to like stick it all in like a dist folder, and then the JavaScript files will talk to each other and work it out. Is this necessary to use a program with an incurses interface? I've never heard of incurses. Thanks, Nixon. I like it too. Oh boy. So that was pretty good. We built ourselves a CLI. We've got it working locally, which is nice. If we were to publish this to NPM, which is the next step, then what would happen is we could then install it, and then locally we could then run it by using like npm practice and then using the stuff there. And let me actually just show you that with the way that my TypeScript CLI works. So let's actually look at some, I guess, production code here, because this is, driving a lot of my business. Repos ts total TypeScript CLI. Yeah, here we go. So I was working on this morning. Inside here, I think I use a slightly different setup here. I'm not using, this is TTCLI. And this TTCLI, what this does is this is runs like scripts inside my, like if you've taken the beginner's TypeScript course, then the TTCLI is what's actually running the exercises there. So instead of a dev script, I've actually got a build script here. And this build script basically says esbuild bundle, and like it uses esbuild instead of TypeScript. And I've got a release pipeline, which is where I use change sets to publish it, which is a really cool publishing platform. And I run the CI script and send it up. I've got Commander in the dependencies, and the code looks something like this. So we've got a bin file here, which is basically like we've got our like program in a separate file, but inside the bin script is where I actually pass the inputs. And this is like the inputs file, essentially like the top file. And then we have our command here, and this command has all of the possible commands in here. So there's only two, I think. So I've just got like a command here to run the exercise, which has an alias, runs an exercise on watch mode, and you have an option to run the solution as well. Then we have a prepare stack blitz thing, which is like a sort of internal thing here. Now, that means then I can sort of like pull all these different files in and like just organize this as if it's like a normal code base, publish it into the dist file. I use esbuild actually to bundle this into just one big file. I'm going to delete that so it doesn't tank my CPU. And is Commander able to run bash commands? Basically, like Commander is just like the entry point. Commander is the thing that just like passes the arguments that are passed to it, and then node is what's driving the whole shebang. So, you can just use exec sync or exec to just run different commands and stuff, and fs to change stuff in the file system. So if we look back at this code, then like, like I'm using fs promises inside here and path as well. I'm checking if a file path is a directory by calling fs_stat on it and using stat.isDirectory. Just doing node stuff basically. And yeah, this is what's driving like a lot of this stuff. Add graphic stuff, tables, colors. Yeah, I just pull that in from like different packages. Usually I don't really need to do that. I'm kind of happy with just like normal terminal UI. because most of the, I mean, this I think is probably the only CLI I've got in production, I think, at the moment. Ncurses is like blessed. What's blessed? What are you talking about? Dot change set. Oh, nearly splashed myself. Created a zip script with bash. Okay. I don't know what that means, but okay. Dot change set is, if we look at change sets, it's basically a way to manage versioning and change logs. It's got a focus on monorepos, but it works with a bunch of different stuff. Really, really useful for just deploying single package stuff up there, and gives you a really, really beautiful workflow where you can actually add it to a GitHub action. And then that GitHub action, when it's run, will basically publish it up to NPM and just handle all that stuff for you and generate a change set for you. It's really nice. Ncurses graphical CLI. Cool. When npm installed, how is bin key in the package.json working? Yeah, I covered this earlier, but let me just take another look, just so we see here. Essentially the bin, the bin is like an object which you can specify, which has, you specify the name of your CLI or the sort of executable you want it to be called. So here I just called ttcli, and we say dist bin.js. And essentially when this is called, or like when this is run in your terminal, then this file is run with node, and it knows that by this little user bin env node up there. All right, kids. I think let's call that the end there. We've had a little look at package.jsons. We've had a little look at tsconfigs. We've had a little look at CLIs. We had a little look at Commander. We've been rolling for quite some time, hour and a bit. And I think we'll finish there. We've got any final questions? I should tell you, actually. I should tell you the thing I've been working on, which is I've been working on a book. I'm writing a book. And the book I'm writing is going to be about TypeScript. And it's going to be really a something that essentially will hold your hand all the way through learning TypeScript, like learning TypeScript from the ground up. And it's really cool because most of my content has been really focused on advanced stuff, but now I get to take that kind of advanced knowledge and the stuff that I know about the advanced stuff and just reapply it onto beginner stuff. So what it means is you're going to get a beginner's book, but it's written in a way that all of the mental models work up to that advanced TypeScript stuff. Which is pretty sick. I'm not sure when the book is going to be published. I'm working with a publisher, or rather, the whole Total TypeScript team is actually going to contribute to the book. It's also going to come out as a video course as well. And it means that Total TypeScript is now going to be not only like a really good advanced tutorial, but also a really amazing beginner's experience as well. So we're going to move all the way from that. Going to be in the website style? Abso-freaking-lutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. Yeah, I can't wait. I cannot wait. And I've already written just so many exercises for it as well. So let me show you my private repo. Total TypeScript book, here we go. Let's see. I mean, you can start to see, this is already like the 4th chapter in or something. And there's just so many of these problem solution exercises in. We're up to 56 already, just in 3-4 chapters. I'm adding new formats in here. So we're going to look at Vite, going to look at how TypeScript works in your build process, all the essential types and annotations. And it's all done through, again, this kind of practice solution stuff, you've actually, in order to learn something, really, you've got to be in the right situation in order to learn it. You need to have the mindset of, oh God, I need that information right now, and you need to need it. So only when you truly need that information are you actually going to learn it when it comes along. And that's what I really like to do. I like putting people in my courses in situations where they go, oh God, I need some information, help. And then I provide it to them. And so there's a sense of you're being pushed always to your limit. And yeah, this is where I want the book to go as well. Yeah, we were discussing like what is the book going to be called. I think it's probably going to be called Total TypeScript. Yeah. All right. So we're done, folks. Thanks so much for holding along. What is that? Thanks so much for joining along. I'm not sure when I'm going to stream again, but you should look on totaltypescript.com if you want to like get more stuff. I'm going to be furiously writing exercises for this book, and I might even start filming it soon. Anyway, I do not have a course on Udemy. My course is on totaltypescript.com. GitHub Actions tutorial, maybe. I don't know a huge amount about GitHub Actions. I know enough to get it working, but maybe that's all you need, right? All right, peace out. See you, folks.